Hi everybody, I'm just trying to get set up with my laptop here so I can see the comments. It might take me just a second. Okay, we're on live stream. I can see the chat, so I'm just waiting to see if I have people that come in. It might take a little while. I got my lemonade though. Gotta have my lemonade. I know today is a busy day for a lot of people. I mean, you probably have a lot of shopping, house cleaning to do, that type of thing. So we'll wait a little bit and see. I just wanted to go live stream so I could maybe get some questions and answer some questions live, because I had been getting a few questions in comments. So I thought it'd be a good idea to go live occasionally, just maybe to answer some questions or just talk with people, chat with people online. Shows that I got 3 people watching. They haven't let me know who they are though. So they might be silent watchers. They may not want people to know they're in the chat. We'll give a few more minutes and see if anybody else comes in. I know there's probably a lot of people out shopping today that are not going to get a chance to attend the live stream, and that's okay. I mean, they can watch it later. But I thought it would be a good idea, just to come on live and be able to answer questions. Like I said, I've had certain comments and questions on the garden. So I thought maybe I could answer some of those live here. Trying to adjust this camera a little bit. I don't like the lighting. I moved around in my house everywhere trying to find decent lighting for this, so this is about the best I could come up with this morning. But I had one question in particular on starting your seedlings from seed. And one comment from one of the viewers, I don't remember who it was, but they said that for some reason their cantaloupe seedlings disappear. They come up fine, she has plenty of sprouts, and then all of a sudden they're gone, they disappear. Well, that happened to me with my pear tomatoes my rainbow tomatoes, and my basil. And I had been starting them in just soil from the yard. So I figured, well, it's got to be one of two things, or maybe a combination of both. It has to be the fact that they're getting too much sun on the little bitty seedling, and there might be parasites or little bugs in the soil, since I just dug it out of the yard and put it in the pot, which it may be all right for transplants, bigger plants. They probably wouldn't bother those. But for little seedlings, they may be eating them. So what I did, I went to the store and I bought the smallest bag of potting mix I could find, or potting soil. And I came home, I moved the pots first of all, and I put them on my back patio. And so they'll get shade about half the day. And I put about 1 inch or 2 inches of potting soil in the top of those pots. I left that original dirt in there, but I did put 1 inch or 2 inches of potting mix in the top. And that's what I replanted my seeds in. And now they're coming up and they look fine. I mean, I may go out there today and they're gone, but as of yesterday, my sprouts came up and they're looking fine. So I'm hoping that I'll have new basil plants to put out in the garden, and I'll also have the pear tomatoes and the rainbow tomatoes. I've never planted either one of those, so I'm anxious to see what the rainbow tomatoes look like. I don't know if they're just different color tomatoes individually, or if it's different plants that are different colors. I don't know. I don't know why they called it rainbow, but I'm anxious to find out. So I got those sprouted. And I've never grown pear tomatoes before either, so I'm anxious to see what they look like. And the problem I've been having with basil, every time my sprouts came up, they disappeared. So hopefully now, I'm hoping that these sprouts that came up will survive, and I'll have more basil to put out in the yard. And you'll have to forgive me, my hair is wet, still wet this morning. I haven't been long got out of the shower, so my hair is only about half dry this morning. That's why it's hanging down. I want it to get dry. It looks like we've still got 3 people watching. I don't know who they are. They haven't commented. So we'll wait a while and see if some more people come in. Yeah, they're forecasting a severe thunderstorm about 2 o'clock today. That's one reason I went ahead and decided it's 12:30 or 12:34. That's one reason I decided to go ahead and start the live stream now rather than wait, because I was afraid that we might have that storm with hail, and you may have electrical storm too with it. I don't know. So I decided I'd go ahead and get this out of the way, get it done, and not worry about it later. Hi, Ashley. How are you doing? I'm glad you could join us. So we did get Ashley to identify herself, so I know who I'm chatting with. How's your day been going, Ashley? As I said again, the lighting is terrible inside here. If I turn all the lights on, it's too much of a glare. If I turn them all off, it's too dark. So I've compromised, and I've only left 2 lights on. So that cut down on a lot of the glare that's coming in. So hopefully this will work out better. How's your garden growing, Ashley? Is it doing okay? I was on live for about an hour the last time I went live, and that's basically when a lot of people started coming in. I still had people coming in an hour, hour and a half after I started that last live. So that's good, Ashley. A little bit manic today, okay. I have days like that too. I've got so much to do a lot of times I don't know which direction to go in first. My day is going fine. I'm just kind of anxiously awaiting to see what the weather's going to do this afternoon. Because like I said, they said we have a possibility of large hail, heavy rain, and God knows what the wind's going to do. And if we have lightning or anything like that in the storm, we'll see. I hope it doesn't destroy my shade cloth that I worked so hard on putting up over the part of the garden out there, though. Because it's not going to withstand too big a hail falling on it. If it's little stuff, it'll be okay, but Texas has been known to have some pretty good size hail. I think we've had it almost the size of a quarter here. And in Fort Worth and Dallas a few years ago, they actually had baseball size hail. It was literally coming through the roofs of some of those homes because they had baseball size hail laying in their living room carpet. I said, that is terrifying, because you know if one of the hail falls on your head the size of a baseball, it's going to kill you, or it'll do major brain damage for sure. So I've seen a lot of hail fall here, but it's usually been pretty small. Nothing really big and damaging. Even though one year, this has been a long time ago, and it was before I put my carport up, I had just bought a Buick Regal, brand new car. I bought it closer to the first of the year. And around June and July, we had a hailstorm, and it put little dents all over that car. Brand new car. It looked like Bigfoot walked on it. So I had to take it in and get it fixed. It was $2,300 in hail damage to fix those little dents. And of course that made my insurance go up. But after that is when I put my carport up. I said it'll have to be some big hail to do damage to my car now, because it's got to come through the carport first. So we'll see. So far, it's not damaged the carport or the car, so, but that's not saying it's not going to. But at least I've done what I can to protect my car, because I don't want my insurance going up. We got 5 in here now. That's good. Who else we got in here? I know we got Ashley. Oh, Tammy. Good morning, Tammy, or good afternoon. I guess it's good afternoon now. It's after 12, so. Some from Sevierville, Tennessee. Bright and sunny here. Well, it's bright and sunny here right now, but every once in a while it clouds up. And like I was telling Ashley, we've got a threat of a severe thunderstorm this afternoon about 2 o'clock with possible hail, heavy rains. I don't know about the wind, but I just hope it's nothing big enough that it's going to destroy my shade cloth that I put up on that canopy the other day. I worked too hard on that for the hail to destroy it. Oh, Ashley's from DeSoto, Missouri. So we got Missouri, we got Tennessee. Got 7 watching. Who else we got in here? How's the weather in DeSoto, Missouri, Ashley? Like I said, it's a beautiful day so far here, real calm, but it's supposed to change about 2 o'clock, so we'll see. Your moonflowers are peeking up? Well, good. And they'll come up every year. Those plants will die down. You'll think they're completely gone at the end of the summer, when it starts freezing. But if you'll leave those roots in that pot or wherever you got them planted, they'll come up the next year. You might have to keep the dirt just a little damp, not really wet, but damp off and on throughout the winter. The pots that I have my moonflowers in are right at the corner of my patio. So when it rains, it goes in that pot. And the other ones are planted in my rock garden. So I don't worry about them through the winter. They get rain, that type of thing to keep the ground wet. But just about every single one of them has popped up out of the ground in my rock garden. And I've got a pot full out here at the patio as well. And all in your garden. Well, that's good because, like I said, they'll come up next year too. They'll come up from the roots, so don't pull them up or anything. I wait. I leave my dead plants right there, and then when they start coming up that next spring, that's when I usually break off the dead part. And most of the time, all you have to do is touch it, and it just falls over anyway. So you're not going to damage your plant. Oh, we got New York. Josh Lott from New York. Are you just in southwest Dallas? I'm in southwest of Dallas, Fort Worth. I'm originally from North Carolina, believe it or not. But I've lived here since 1978. Moved here with my ex-husband, who was my husband at the time. He was transferred from the nuclear power plant in Southport, North Carolina, to the one in Comanche Peak, Texas, which is a 20-minute drive from here. And we were divorced maybe 6-7 years after we moved here. And I've just stayed. My kids wanted to stay. My daughter especially, she wanted to stay and finish high school. And that turned into over 40 years I've been here. Well, I found my peas are my sweet peas especially, are burning up. So unless you can probably plant them in the shade, I don't think they'll survive. My sweet peas were growing real good until all of a sudden it got so hot. And my sweet peas just burn up. They're not shaded. And I don't know if they would have survived a little bit better in the shade or not. But they like the cooler temperatures better. They don't want it freezing. But they do survive, through the cold temperatures and the freezing temperatures if you kind of keep them covered up. Because I kept mine alive through several freezes over the winter. But this heat, they just can't tolerate the heat. The green beans didn't like the heat either. But my foot-long beans, they don't seem to mind as long as I keep them watered. Oh, you almost planted all the seeds I sent you? Well, that's good. You'll have a lot of stuff growing if all of them come up. Little buddy's doing great. I guess you saw the video where he was being brushed by the little pet brush that Bloomin' had sent him. He loved that. My nasturtium is not doing too well. I planted 3 seeds in a pot. One of the seeds came up. It started growing really good, but then, like I said, it started getting hot. And it seems like that nasturtium does not like the Texas heat. It doesn't like that dry heat. So I've got a tomato plant in the same pot that came up voluntarily. So I'm not sure if I want to move it in the shade or what to do with it yet. I'm reading the comments as I finally got it all figured out to where I could halfway look at the camera and see my chat too. So I'm not completely turning my head away from everybody. The nasturtium, where you're at, Tammy, I'm not sure. I don't know how your weather is there. It may do real well. I mean, because you're not in this Texas heat. But like I said, I'm thinking if I moved mine in the shade, it would probably do better. And you know, they should come up every year. I planted nasturtium one year in that pot that's setting on the it's the half barrel pot that sits up on the stump in the middle of the rock garden that I've now got mint planted in. I had nasturtium in that one year, and it came up the next year too. And I said, well, hey, that's neat. I didn't know it come up every year, but that one did. And kindred spirit, how you doing, kindred spirit? Hope you're doing good. Did everybody plant a garden that's in the chat today? I know in North Carolina, where I'm from, you could basically throw a seed on the ground and it would sprout and grow. But out here in Texas, it's a whole different ball game. It took me about 40 years to figure out how to grow stuff in Texas. Because I can't tell you how much money I spent on flowers, seeds, rose bushes, and everything else to put in that front rock garden. And as long as I could keep it watered that first year, it did halfway decent. Nothing came back the second year. I couldn't keep roses alive out there until I found the knockout roses. And I realized, well, you're planting the wrong type of rose bushes for this climate. So I found the knockout roses. They are the best for this dry heat. They thrive in the heat of the sun. They love the sun. In fact, they grow better in the sun. So that's why I ended up with so many of the knockout roses. And that yellow rose is because of the heat in Texas. Yeah, I planted long stem roses, all kind of beautiful roses out there in that rock garden, but they just couldn't tolerate the heat. Oh, Tammy, you have a lot of shade. Yeah, it might do better if you put the nasturtium in a little bit of the shade so it doesn't get that extreme heat of the afternoon sun. Oh, a lot of tomatoes and green beans. Well, I haven't found the perfect green bean to grow here yet. My green beans came up. They produced, a handful of beans, and then the plant burned up in the sun. Like I said, the only thing that's surviving right now that's really producing anything is those foot-long beans. Those really long ones. They're like an oriental type bean. But there is one place that I planted beans the first time, and that was out here on my side yard, almost in the front yard, but it was under the shade trees. But sun did filter down through the trees. I planted butter beans and I think snap beans and something else there, 2 or 3 rows, and they did fantastic. And I planted them in the ground. As long as I kept them watered, they grew like crazy because they weren't out in that heat. And see, my beans that I've got now are right out in the heat. They're right out in the sun. They get no shade, so they don't like it in the sun. So the next time I plant any peas or beans, they're going to be in the shade or the shady part of the yard. Oh, I wish you could too, Ashley. I'd love to see your garden or your pots that you're growing stuff in. Oh, we got 16 people watching now, so we're getting a few in here. I notified Bloomin'. She said she never got notifications that I was going live or that I posted a video or anything, and I don't know what's wrong. I mean, unless she's got notifications turned off, she should get notifications whenever I post a video or anytime that I go live. But I went ahead and messaged her, and I told her that I was going to be going live in a few minutes, just so she knew. So, if she wanted to attend the live, she could. Now, I don't know if she even got the message. She may not have even checked her messages yet today. So I don't know. Well, thank you, kindred spirit. I don't think I look very pretty. No, I didn't. I tuned in late that morning to her live. I guess it was the live that she read it on. And I missed it. She was reading some, but it was not mine. So it may not have been the right video. And I don't know what video to go back to see that. I don't know what the video was titled, so, I'd have to go back and view a lot of videos trying to find it, and then I may not find it. But I thought I had caught all of her lives. But like I said, some of the lives I was not there at the very beginning. So I may have watched the live that she showed it on, but I didn't tune in till after she was already showing it. So I don't know. But thank you for the compliment, kindred spirit. I appreciate that. At my age, the way my eyes swell up and the weight I've gained, it's always nice to get a nice compliment on the way I look. So, okay, if you find it, let me know the title. I'll write it down and I'll go back and view it. Well, we got 15 in here. That's not too bad since I didn't notify people of the live. I just told about it in my last video, I think. And I said, well, at least some of the people that viewed that video till the end, they saw me announce that I would probably be going live between 12 and 2 o'clock today. Yeah, you don't have to look right now. If you find it, just message me or send me an email to my Gmail, and I can look it up and watch it. I hope y'all got something to drink. I always have my lemonade on hand. Bloomin' sent me a microphone for my phone, so when I video outside, or whatever I'm filming with. Yes, I did, kindred spirit. I got a post office box. It's just my name, Linda Hauser, post office box 2173, Granbury. That's GRAN. B as in boy, URY, Texas 76048. I stopped putting it on all my videos in the description because I wasn't sure that I was going to keep it, because it does cost every month to have that. And I said if I don't get response to the post office box, there's really not a need to have it. If someone really wanted to send me something, I can just give them my physical address and they can mail it here. But that's the post office box for now. Oh, the basil tea, it's pretty good. And you can add lemon to that too. I don't know if I showed it in the video about that you could add lemon to that as well. But it's just another different type of drink you can have other than just regular tea, lemonade, or something like that. You're welcome, kindred spirit. No more questions? Oh, we got 20 in here now. To be sure, there's some questions. Yeah, I'm not sure about my garden. The way this crazy weather's been, and we're supposed to be in the hundreds this coming week. So the garden's not going to like that. The rose bushes will love it, but my squash and melons, the watermelons, cantaloupe, honeydews, stuff like that's not going to like that hot sun. But I don't know if you saw, all of you that are in chat right now, saw the video that I posted, the one before the tea or the drinks video. I think I showed an area in my front yard out here where it's bordered with rocks and it does get a lot of shade during the day. I'm going to start putting pots and totes and stuff in that area because I think with the shade that it gets during the day, that plants will do really well. And I may even try planting my peas and my beans over there and see how they do. So they're not sitting in that hot sun all day. No, I haven't actually walked out in the garden this morning. I did look out the window at it. And what I could tell, everything still looked okay. I don't know. I did put some water on some of the stuff late yesterday afternoon, but it was so hot out there. Oh my gosh. Not really. We have a pretty cool, brutal winter here. It's not very long. It's only usually about a month or so, but it gets cold enough and bad enough that it will kill plants. It'll kill everything in your garden, basically. Now, the only thing I did keep alive over the winter was my kale. What was it? The onions will live. They survive. They come back every year as long as you don't pull them out. But the kale, what else was it I had out there? Brussels sprouts. And I think some Swiss chard survived, but I did keep it covered up. If you saw all of my videos, you'll see where I kept covering some of my pots and totes up with cardboard or whatever I could find to put a cover over it. And then I would take it off as soon as I could. And they survived all winter long under cover most of the time. I was getting kind of tired of covering things up and then uncovering it, but yeah, they did survive. All the Brussels sprouts in the tower, the green stalk tower, survived by me covering up with a tarp. Peas, green beans, tomatoes, peppers seem to grow good here in my shady area. Yeah, I didn't even think about that when I planted my peas where I put them. I said, well, this was the wrong place to put them because I get no shade there. Now, that row of peppers that we put in the buckets, sorry about that. The peppers that we planted in that row of black buckets behind that silver shed, they get the morning sun, but then about midday the sun is straight up and then it shifts. So in the afternoon, the shed itself puts all that whole row of peppers in shade. So they do get shade during the day. And I think as long as I can keep them watered, they'll do fine there. And if not, the buckets are small enough. They're easy to move. I can move them to another location. I might even move them up here to that little rocked-in area that I was talking about that gets a lot of shade during the day. But I thought I'd try them back there behind the shed and see what happens. That's like the pink totes, my spring garden or whatever you want to call that. I planted all of those right along the back of that green shed. So they get morning sun, but then they're shaded in the afternoon. They get none of that hot, intense afternoon sun at all. And they seem to be doing pretty good over there. I did have to move that pink pot or pink tote that was out just sitting on the boulder because I didn't have room in that row to put it. I moved it under the shade cloth because I don't know if it's the sun, the type of vine it was, or maybe one of those worms that got in the ground that ate the root of the plant. But the vine seems to be dying for some reason. And that same vine in one of my other totes is doing the same thing. So I just don't think it likes the hot sun. Because the cucumber vine and the other stuff in that same pot is doing fine. Oh, it's hot and steamy here in Louisiana. Yeah, Louisiana gets a lot of rain, so I know you have a humid heat. And it can be 95 degrees in that humidity, and it seems like it's 105. We're not quite as humid here, but the rain we've had for the last week or two has made it a little bit humid. I'm not sure I can pronounce this name. It's Lowkey. Sunset. Hi to you as well, even though I can't pronounce your name. Loki Sunset? Low-key Sunset. I got it. Take a gun and straighten my brain out. Savannah, hi to you as well. Glad to have you. Got 18 in. We keep climbing, so I guess the longer I'm in on live, the more we'll get in here. And I wasn't expecting, too many because it wasn't scheduled. And I know a lot of people may not have even watched my other video to the end to even know I was going to have it today. A lot of people are busy. Like I said, this is Saturday. If you work Monday through Friday, Saturday is your cleaning day, your shopping day, your running around day. It's your everything day to get things done so you can just kick back and relax on Sunday. So I know how it is. But they'll be able to watch the replay. Yeah, I've never lived in Louisiana, but I have driven through because I go right straight through Louisiana when I drive home to North Carolina from here. Maria, I'm glad you enjoy my videos. And Maria's in South Carolina. Well, welcome. And Savannah, you just got off? Oh, you just got off work probably? You had to work half a day today, huh? I've done that many times. Most of the time I had to work a whole day on Saturday. Yeah, I'm limited with space too for growing stuff. I mean, I've got another whole lot over here on the other side of me, but it's never been cleared and it's full of trees and underbrush. And I don't want to pay someone to come in and clean it. I can and maybe start putting pots and totes over on the other side toward where I was going to put that new greenhouse that Bloomin' sent. Yeah, we had a few issues with it, so we're having to put that on hold right now. But it's not something I'm rushed to put up because I wouldn't use it a whole lot right now since I've got basically everything planted that I was going to plant for right now. Years ago, I worked at Walmart. I was a department manager for them. And at first, I had weekends off. And then I started having to work Monday through Saturday. And then they switched to this thing of being open 7 days a week. That's back, I guess, a lot of you may not remember that, but Walmart never used to be open on Sunday. But I was a manager with them when they decided, well, we're going to be open 7 days a week. We're going to stay open all day Sunday as well. So then I had to work weekends. So I felt like I was at work 90% of the time. Oh, yeah, Maria, I did pick one more squash yesterday, and I picked another cucumber yesterday, one that I had missed. But I didn't get enough really to fry, so I put the cucumber and the little yellow squash in the refrigerator until I can pick a couple more squash, and then I'll cook them. And Savannah's from Texas. What part of Texas, Savannah? Are you anywhere close to North Central? Because I'm just south of Fort Worth and Dallas, or southwest of Fort Worth and Dallas. We're up to 23. We're climbing. We don't have many, but we're still getting more. Oh, Bloomin', there you are. I was wondering if you got my message I sent. I told everybody that I sent you a message because you said you had not been getting notifications of me going live or posting videos. So I made it a point to send you a message before I went live, so at least you would know if you got the message. Oh, you're fine. We're just basically hanging out waiting for people to get in here. Like I said, I know it's Saturday. A lot of people have things to do. So I didn't count on being overrun by people in the chat today. But I'm glad to see the people that I have seen in there. I sent it to you in the chat, Bloomin'. It's in there. You can send it to the one that I sent you in the chat, or the one that's in the description of my videos. That one is lindahauser49@gmail.com. I'll get it if you send it to either one of those. You going to buy more dirt? Sometimes I think I need several dump trucks of dirt out here. Well, they claim your potatoes are not ready to dig till after they bloom. They say the potatoes will bloom and then they should have potatoes on them. I pulled up a couple of mine, and mine were real tiny. So one of them that I pulled up that had a little tiny potato on it that I didn't break the roots of, I replanted it. I just stuck it back in the pot. Gina Bell, hello. How are you? And Gamer has joined us. Gina Bell. Oh, Gamer says, hi, what do you do on YouTube? This is a channel for gardening, composting in place, do-it-yourself projects, a little bit of everything. I left my description open in YouTube to where I could pretty much do a video on whatever I wanted to do it on. Yeah, I'd wait a while on my potatoes. And some people won't dig their potatoes until the plant dies. But I know the sun has been killing some of my plants, even though I know the potatoes are not ready to be pulled. So that's something else that probably needs to be planted partly in the shade, I guess, especially here in Texas. Abella, hello. Ashley, hello. Well, I said hello to Ashley before, but we've got Savannah, Abella Guzman. It's better we wait 90 days to dig up our potatoes. I wouldn't want to pull them up too early, because even after those plants die, those potatoes will still be fine for several weeks in the ground. And some people say it's better to wait till the plant dies and wait at least a week after the plants die and then dig your potatoes. This is the first year I've planted potatoes. I know when I was growing up, my dad planted them every year, and he always had huge potatoes, but they were grown in the ground, not in a pot. Gina Bell, are you 41? Are you asking me if I'm 41 years old? Yes, ma'am, I am, if that's what you're asking. I'm that plus some. I wish I was only 41 sometimes. Oh, you're 27? Well, you're just a youngin', girl. I just got on live because, like I said earlier, I was waiting for a bunch of people to get on live. I had people sending me messages asking questions about the garden and different things about starting your seeds and that type of thing. So I wanted to go live just so people had a chance to ask questions and I could go ahead and answer them. I try to answer a lot of the comments in the next video that I post. But I said it would be better just to have a live, let people come on the live and ask in the chat any questions that they have on their gardens or whatever they're doing, and I could answer them then. Let's see, Tammy, I've got a package of potato seeds then started, but they haven't broke the dirt yet. Have you ever heard of potato seeds? No, I've never heard of potato seeds. Never heard of anybody starting potatoes from a seed. I've always started them from cut potatoes, especially the ones that you buy from the store, a new potato, and it started putting out those sprouts. That's the best thing right there, is to cut those potatoes, leaving a sprout on each one of those cuttings, and put that sprout in the ground. That's what I've always known everybody to plant potatoes from, is a potato. Oh, we got an Emily in here now. Hi, Emily. I must have missed something. I must have missed a chat or something. I see where Blooming is telling Savannah, you're so young, enjoy your life. Don't waste time by serving Satan. Savannah, I'm 19. Oh, yeah, you're young. You've got your whole life ahead of you, girl. Live it wisely. Good choices pay off. You have many, many years ahead of you to do gardening in. Isabella, hello. How are you today? Yeah, I've watched these young kids nowadays. They get into drugs. They do so much stuff, and they don't realize what they're doing to themselves. They don't realize what they're doing to their lives when they get into that type of stuff. I never did drugs. I never drank alcohol. I never smoked cigarettes because I was allergic. I don't even go around people that are smoking. No one comes in my house smoking a cigarette. Now, my son will drink a beer occasionally. And years ago, he owned this great big I don't know what it was a big, like 12-man boat. It was a huge, expensive boat. And he'd bring it over and we'd go out on the lake with it. And it'd get hot out there and he'd offer me a beer and I'd drink one. But that was like, I joked with him about it. I said, yeah, that was my one for the whole year. Because that was my limit. I drank one with him and that was it. I never touched it again. Till maybe the next year. I'm great, Isabella. How are you doing? And I don't remember who it was that, um, I don't know if you're in chat or not, but you had sent me a message saying that your little seedlings, I think it was squash seedlings or something, was disappearing. And I had told about that at the beginning of the video or the live. But if you're in chat, let me know and I can tell you again what I did with mine. Can't be around smokers. Can't drink alcohol either. It makes me itch. Skin turns red. Yeah, you must be allergic to the alcohol. And one thing about it, that one beer I drink a year that I used to drink with my son, I don't even do that because we don't go out in the boat anymore. If I drank it later in the afternoon, I was up all night because there was something in it that I'm allergic to. It may be the barley or something that they put in beer, they make beer out of. Yeah, a lot of people think that, especially the young people, they think it's a cool thing or it's the grown-up thing to do, to drink or to smoke, but it's not. It doesn't show a sign of being mature and of age. It doesn't show that at all. In fact, it would show more common sense to leave all that stuff alone. Smoking is expensive. Good Lord. Even if I wasn't allergic to it, I couldn't afford to smoke. Couldn't afford to drink either. I mean, alcohol and cigarettes are expensive. Yeah, have you ever seen these people that walk around and say they don't have money for this, they don't have money for that, but yet they got a beer in one hand and they got a cigarette in the other? And to my way of thinking, if you can afford cigarettes and you can afford beer, you can afford whatever it is you say you don't have the money for. Because what you need to do is leave those cigarettes in the store and you need to leave the beer in the store and take that money that you spent on those and put it to some good. It's my way of thinking about it. Oh, we got Suffolk Susie from Long Island, New York. My aunt Mary and Uncle Joe used to live on Long Island, New York years ago. They've passed away now, but I'm sure my two cousins still are there, Joseph and Mary. A little just lighted one up. I'm doing it for my health. Well, I mean, Tammy, that's your choice. I'm not putting you down if you're smoking. I mean, that's personal choice. I just say that I don't. My mom never did either. My dad smoked. He loved his pipe. He always used Prince Albert tobacco in his pipe that he smoked. But my mom was always allergic to smoke, and I inherited her allergies, so I'm allergic to it as well. Okay, I'll check my emails after the live chat, and I'll get that taken care of. Can you tell me about keeping animals away from your plants? You mean the four-legged kind, like dogs and cats and critters? I have that problem too. I have squirrels that come in my yard. I have armadillos. I've got possum. I've got raccoons. And last year I noticed two of my little winter squash disappeared, or one of them completely disappeared. The other one was half eaten. And I noticed some of my zucchini disappeared. I'd go out there and look one day, and I had these little bitty baby zucchini. I'd go out there the next day and look, and they were gone. So I know I had a critter that ate them. And the only thing I can tell you to do about that is if you got tool, if you can buy, I think it's 40 yards to a bolt, and it's about $10-15 for the whole bolt, the whole 40 yards of it. And it's pretty wide. And that's what I've been putting over my cages out there, my trellises, for some of my plants to keep bugs off of them and that type of thing. If you'll drape that over those plants, the squirrels and the other animals will not go through that tool to get to your plant. I mean, I don't know how your garden's set up. I don't know if it's set up to do that. If you would have to, cover each one individually. I put those little covers on my cabbage plants and my collards. That was tool. And I know Walmart sells it on a bolt, but you can get it a lot cheaper if you get it online. Just put in a search for tool for your, on the bolt, and you'll find it. I don't remember if it was $15 I paid for mine when I ordered it. I used tool, a must, covered my blueberries today. Oh yeah, Suffolk, that it's a pretty good thing to have tool. And if you got a long row that you need to cover up, if the plants aren't awfully high, you might be able to stretch that tool the whole length of that row, and it may be wide enough to cover your plants. You haven't smoked in 3 days, and then when you lit one up, you felt dumb. Well, if you could go 3 days, you don't need a cigarette. Other than using tool, I think the only suggestion I would have is to put some type of fence up around your garden. If you've got a garden area that you're working with. I know I've thought about putting up the chicken wire and just put it on some poles around my garden just to fence my garden area off. I know the squirrels could probably climb the fence and get over in there, but the armadillos, the possum, and the raccoons and other animals would not go through that chicken wire. I mean, I don't know where you live. I don't know if that would work for you. Kindred Spirit is a cute name. I like that too. And I've got one subscriber. Her name is Mystic Angel. I haven't seen her in chat today, but she watches videos and sends me messages every once in a while. But I'm pushing for almost, I'm up to, I think it's almost 1,600 subscribers. So I'm getting quite a few subscribers. I want more. I'm not going to be satisfied with what I've got. I always want more subscribers. The more I get, the better. Yeah, I've been watching my little blueberry plant. It wasn't doing too well. The leaves were kind of yellow. And then I put a couple of tablespoons of Epsom salt around the base of the plant. and then watered it in. And it's doing a lot better now. It's green. It's looking more green. Because I know you got to have just the right soil to plant blueberries. I don't remember if it can be too acidic or not acidic enough. I don't remember which way that goes. But they say if you put Epsom salts to the plant, it helps balance out the acidic content to the soil. Well, do we have an Emily? I don't know if I saw an Emily. Maybe the chat got by me. But if she's in here, I'll say hello, Emily. I have an aunt named Emily. Yeah, we got Barb in here too. We've got 25 now watching the live. It's in chat. The one and only Sea Rat. Hello there. That's an unusual name. The one and only Sea Rat. Yeah, I had to move my pear tomato seed, my rainbow tomatoes seed that I planted, and the basil, because the seed would sprout up beautiful, and then all of a sudden I'd walk out there one day and it was all gone, just disappeared. So it was either the sun just completely burning it up, or it was some kind of bugs eating it. So like I said earlier, I moved my pots to the patio to where it gets half shade during the day. And I re-sowed the seeds in about 1 inch or 2 inches of potting mix or potting soil that I put in the very top of those same pots. And they seem to be doing okay now. Hopefully I'll have pear tomato plants, rainbow tomato plants, and basil plants to transplant to other parts of the garden in about a week or so. Yeah, I need you to hit that like button. YouTube likes it when people hit the like button. Y'all been to Dollywood? I've never been. My mom and my brothers, my sister-in-laws, a couple of them, my nieces, they would take a trip to Dollywood 1 week out of just about every year for the last 5 or 6 years that my mom was able to travel. And I said, well, if y'all would have let me know you were going, I said I would have planned a trip home and went with them, because I've never been to Dollywood. But it was about that time that my mom was getting, so she was not able to travel anymore. So I never did get to go to Dollywood with them, because they all drove from North Carolina. It was not that long a drive for them, I guess, to Dollywood as it would be for me to drive there from Texas. Sunny B, you live in Maryville, close to Dollywood. This is Linda's live, not Tammy's. I don't know if we got a Tammy in chat or not. So, Sunny B, you get to go to Dollywood whenever you want to. I know, what's up with that? 27 watching and only 15 likes. Everybody needs to hit that like button. I need to see 27 likes up there. What part of the country are you in, Sunny B? What state? Cotton Candy, hello. Sunny B says, Linda, I am an oldie. Did you mean Okie? From Oklahoma or? Oh, Tennessee. I have a brother and a sister-in-law that lives in Tennessee in Mountain City. I don't know if you're anywhere close to that. That's where my sister-in-law was from, and my brother agreed to move up there with her after my parents passed to be close to her dad because he was not doing well, and she wanted to be close to him to help look after him. Ariana Petro, you're from San Diego. Well, welcome, Ariana from San Diego. Good to have you in chat. I'm glad you love watching my channel. I need lots of people watching my channel. Suffolk Susie, like 18. You're close to Knoxville, Tennessee. Yeah, everybody's young. It's in chat, seems like. Make me feel old. Ariana's 57. Well, you're still young. And Savannah, your dad was born in Knoxville. Cotton Candy So Full is 62. Wouldn't mind being 62 again. Sometimes I say that, but I don't know if I could live those years over again. Dana, oh my goodness, you're from Germany. Well, welcome, Dana, from Germany. I'm glad to have you. I noticed on my information about my channel, I've got people from, I think, India, France, Italy, Germany, a lot of other states or countries that watch my channel. And that makes me feel good because I know I'm getting out there. And Sunny B, you're going to be 84 in a few days. Well, happy early birthday, Sunny B. How's the weather in Germany? I've got a neighbor that was from Germany. Her name is Rosie Black. That's her married name. I can't pronounce her German name. I wouldn't even attempt to. But I know she told me that her name in German is Rose Wither. That's how they pronounce what we say is Rosie. They say Rose Wither. But I don't remember how you pronounce her last name. But she met her husband. He was stationed in Germany during the time he was in the service, the army. And they ended up getting married, and he brought her back to the States with him. And she's been here ever since. She said she'd never go back to Germany. She's still got family in Germany. She's got a son that lives there. She's got a sister that's a nurse in Germany that she talks to over the phone all the time. Thank you, Maria. I take that as a very nice compliment. I try to pay attention to how I look. Sometimes I don't know if it's doing any good, but definitely working out in the garden, as hot as it is and the way I sweat in Texas, it wouldn't do any good to put makeup or anything else on if you're out in the yard, because it's not on for 5 minutes before you sweated it off. Oh, you retired in Germany and you enjoy watching my channel. I remember seeing comments. It might have been from you and your husband, saying that you and your husband love watching my channel. That might have been Maria. I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm welcome, because I'm glad to have you on my channel. Get some more of your friends and family over there to watch my channel as well. I'd like to get more viewers from Germany. Well, we got 32, and I'm up to I got 32 watching, and it looks like I got 22 likes, so we're climbing. We get more and more the longer I'm on. And it's almost 2 o'clock. And I know some people were probably planning not to even get on the live until about 2. So and like I said, if they don't get on the live, they don't have time, I understand. They can watch the replay of it. I didn't know my son had taken a week vacation this week. He was going to come over to help me with the greenhouse. That was before we decided to ship it back. And you ought to know it came up a thunderstorm that afternoon. And like I said earlier, we're expecting a thunderstorm this afternoon, like within the next 20 minutes or so. Or they said sometime starting around 2 o'clock or after. We're supposed to get a pretty bad thunderstorm with hail, heavy rain, and that type of thing. Yeah, I got lemonade. 9 times out of 10, if you see me drinking out of this, it's lemonade. Sometimes if it's water, I got a water bottle. But I've got one of the AC ducts right here beside me on the floor. And when it comes on, it blows up that cold air up right beside me. So it blows up maybe sometimes a little bit of pollen or stuff that might be in that vent, and I'm breathing it, and that's what's causing me to cough a little bit. Like it's on right now, but it feels good. Yeah, we need some more rain, but we don't need the hail or the bad weather. But we can handle more rain. They said we were going to get rain yesterday, but it never happened. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see if we get it today. I mean, everybody's weather has changed so much. We either hit dry spells where we get absolutely no rain at all, or it all comes at one time and floods everything. Shelley Edwards, I'm feeling fantastic today. How are you feeling? Yeah, I decided to post it and say just take a break with Linda Hauser today, because it was just question and answer time. I felt like there was so many people sending me messages asking me questions about the garden, till I said, well, that'll be a good topic for a live, is just let people get in the chat and ask me questions and I can answer them right then. West Virginia is where Blooming is. I first thought she was from Georgia from watching the Hodges or Helen White, but then later I found no, she was not in Georgia, but she was close. Fairly close. And little buddy is so funny. If I'm out back on the back patio, if I open my back patio door, he'll come darting through the house, and I know what he wants. He comes through the house for me to get his bowl of food, and then I open the front door and he'll go out on the front patio because he knows where that's usually where I feed him, and I put his bowl down with his food in it on the front patio and he eats. But he'll do it every time if I'm on the back patio and open that door. He darts through that door because he's ready for his food. Yeah, it gets kind of old having to water stuff all the time, I know. But I always try to water at least once a week with my compost tea, because I know that's the fertilizer to my plants. And then I try to water one time with maybe the garden hose or, plain water. But if I have to carry the bucket out there to water my stuff, I'm going to water it with compost tea. I'll water with compost tea every single time I water stuff. Because that just means you're giving those plants food to produce for you. I try to mulch all my containers. I put wood chips in the top of every one of them because it helps hold moisture in. And then most of them, I have the water reservoir down in the bottom, where I raise the hole about 1 or 2 inches up from the bottom. And then those totes and buckets, I put those drain pipes in or hose in so it drains in the bucket. So if it fills up a couple of inches in the bottom and it's overflowing, it'll run out in the bucket, and I just pour that overflow compost tea back into my 5-gallon buckets and hold it till the next time I want to water. Plants in them, and they do wonderful. Just planted about 3 weeks ago and already have small tomatoes growing. Yeah, it's time for all the tomato plants to start producing. I've either got flower buds on all of my tomato plants, or I've got little tomatoes already started. I was surprised when I was walking around looking at them yesterday. Just about all of them have a little marble size tomato started on them already. Yeah, I've spread my 5-gallon buckets to different areas of the yard and keep them full. So if I go out to one area like the little spring garden and I see that some of those totes need to be watered, I'll just take the lid off that 5-gallon bucket, and I'll take one of those little yellow buckets and I dip it down in there and I water those pink totes with it. And then I make sure that that 5-gallon bucket is refilled. And I keep potato peelings and scraps and stuff in it. And make sure I put leaves and stuff in it so it produces more compost tea for me to water the next time. And it makes it a lot easier. And if I need to refill them up, I'll take the water hose out there and I refill the bucket up. I can only if I do a super chat. Shirley, I'm not sure I understand that correctly. Maybe I missed one of your statements, but hello, Shirley, I'm glad to have you. That's just what it says. I still don't understand. What's telling you you can only do if a super chat? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do, Shirley, that it's telling you that? Oh, you were talking to Bloomin'. I missed some of the questions, so I wasn't sure what was going on. I don't have a problem leaving messages in the Hodges lives. It doesn't give me a message that tells me that only if I leave a super chat. Something's wrong there. Some of the settings are not correct, I guess. Yeah, that's the way I do, because on my television, I mean, I've got a smart TV, but I cannot, I don't log on to YouTube to chat, to watch it, and that might be the reason, because I can't chat while I'm watching it on my television. So I usually chat through my phone and just watch it on the big screen. I mean, I guess I could sign into YouTube on my TV, and then it might give me the option to do the chat. I don't know. I haven't signed in while I've been on there. It has something to do with the settings, because, like I said, I've never had a problem leaving a message in in the chat, the live chat. Yeah, I just type a message in on the bar and then hit the arrow and it posts the message. Maybe you're hitting the wrong button and it thinks you want to do a super chat. I don't know. You have to hit that arrow to the right. It tells you can leave up to 200 characters in the message, and then it has an arrow to the right of that. And you type in your message and you just hit the arrow. Wilkes County boy, hello. Glad to have you. $31 in here so far. And I'm up to 25 likes. That means 6 people haven't liked it yet. Get busy and hit that thumbs up. Savannah, you're back from feeding your dogs. How many dogs do you have? First time here, Wilkes County boy? Well, I hope it's not going to be your last. We were just going to have a question and answer time today on this live. Maybe I'll get some more exciting lives coming up. I don't know. That's really strange. You can't type anything unless you use Super Chat. That's weird. I've not had that problem, so I don't really know how to help you out with that. Yeah, I've got a Roku. You have to sign into YouTube. You know, you can go to the YouTube channel and you can watch videos without signing in. But you can sign in to YouTube on your Roku TV, your smart TV. And they claim you can chat and watch the chats on lives or anything else once you're signed in. But when I'm on my TV, I'm not signed into YouTube, even though I can watch YouTube channels. I'm not physically signed into my YouTube. Well, thank you, Wilkes County boy. I'm glad you subscribed to my channel. Like I was saying a few minutes ago, I need all the subscribers I can get. I'm never going to be satisfied. I'm always going to want more. I think I'm up to about 1,600 right now. Kindred Spirit, you're hitting the like button. Yeah, I see it went up to 26. 26 thumbs up. Yeah, my son's taking a much needed vacation week this week. He works so hard, and he's got health problems too. He's got a bad neck and spine, so he has to watch what he does. Rebecca Towns, glad to have you, girl. And happy birthday. Everybody wish Rebecca a happy birthday. She says it's her birthday today. "70 years old today." Well, we're close in years. Yeah, there's a lot of people that have back and neck spinal injuries, that type of thing, I know. Rebecca, she has a birthday. Rebecca Towns. She's 70 years old today. Oh, your husband surprised you with breakfast in bed? That's good. I don't have a husband to do that for me. So if I had breakfast in bed, I'd have to get up and fix it and then go to bed with it. Isn't that crazy? If I had to get up and fix it myself, I wouldn't go back to bed with it. I'd just eat it in the kitchen. And Kindred Spirit, you're 60 today. Well, happy birthday. We got we got two birthdays, Kindred Spirit and Rebecca. Oh, and Rebecca got a ring today too. Her husband surprised her with a ring. How neat. And Suffolk Susie is 61 years old, looking forward to retirement. You type any way you want to, Bloomin'. I understand. That's one reason I usually type in all caps. It's just easier to do that. And you can see it better. Don't have to squint your eyes so hard. My next birthday, I will be 55, but I can't drive. Well, I kind of wish I could work again, but I don't really want a job. I've gotten spoiled being able to stay home and do what I want to do and mess in the yard and plant a garden. I mean, that garden gets to be work sometimes. I mean, it really does. But it's work I like to do. I don't know what I'd do if I couldn't drive. I mean, because I live alone and I depend on my car and me driving to even get anything done, buy groceries or anything else. Well, thank you, kindred spirit. Yeah, I enjoy gardening. It's fun. I enjoy it tremendously, but it is work. I mean, sometimes you can start planting so much that it gets to be too much work. Now, Wilkes County boy come back and says, I can drive, LOL. I figured you could. You went overboard, Shelley? You planted a lot of garden, huh? Oh, okay. I understand, Wilkes County boy. It's a song. Sometimes it just kind of flies by my head. I don't, it doesn't kind of stop and soak in. Yeah, well, like I said, I'm not done, and I feel sometimes like I've planted too much already. But I started those pear tomato seeds I got in a pot out there, and I've got the rainbow tomato seeds that I've started, little seedlings, and I've started a pot full of basil seedlings. And when they get big enough, if they survive, I'm going to have to take them and find a spot to put them in the garden. And there's going to be quite a few of them. And I'm still pulling out tomatoes and peppers where they're coming up in clumps in the garden out there and transplanting them to other parts of the garden. You know, finding another pot to put some of them in. And I'm just about to run out of spaces to put them in. I'm going to have to come up with some more pots and totes and buckets, I guess. That's the reason I said I was going to have to start putting pots and totes, buckets or something out there in that little area that's rocked in, right off the little patio that gets a lot of shade off and on during the day. I think that would be a good place to plant some stuff. I thought about putting another rock garden there, but I don't want to have to fill it in with dirt and everything. I don't have dirt around to fill it in. So I think I'm just going to put more pots and totes or buckets or something in that spot and try growing there. I understand, Sunny Bee. There's some days I feel like ordering my groceries. I know Walmart now, their grocery out here, you can order groceries and have it delivered to your house. You have to subscribe to that option. It's at like $12 a month or something. Because for one reason, I get out there and when I'm in the store, I buy too much. I go in there and I see a lot of stuff that's not on my list, and I buy stuff that's not on the list, and that means I spend more money than I intended to. And I figure if I just order it and have them deliver it, I won't be in the store to buy all that stuff. But I don't know. I'd probably put it on the list. Bloomin' has a car and a truck, but I don't like driving because my eyes are bad. You know, I got that way one time, and I thought it was, I never wore glasses until I was like 50 years old. And all of a sudden, I noticed I couldn't read the road signs. And then it got so I couldn't read the street signs. So I went in and had my eyes checked, and they gave me glasses for distance. The next time I went in and had my eyes checked, they said, well, you need glasses for close-up now. You can see distance fine. Well, the last time I went in and had them checked was years ago. It's probably 7 years ago now, maybe 5 or 6 years, something like that. I couldn't read the road signs again, and it was so bad I couldn't read street signs. So I tried not to drive anywhere unless it was here in town where I knew my way around, so I did not have to depend on reading the signs. And I would go to Fort Worth, but it would be only where I knew where to turn and what way to go, so I didn't have to read the signs. Well, I had to go in and get my eyes checked because I was due to get my license renewed. And also, that was the year they made you go in for the eye exam. So I had to go in and get my eyes checked because I knew I couldn't pass the eye exam in that driver's test without doing something. So I went in and had my eyes checked, and she said, well, glasses are not going to do any good this time. You got cataracts. So I had to go in and have surgery to have the cataracts removed. So now I don't need glasses at all. I can see distance. I can see close up. Don't need glasses whatsoever. And I went in and did my driver's test, got my license renewed, and no problem. And I was scared to death to go in and have it done, but after I went in and had that first eye done, I felt like a fool being so worried about it, because it was not a big deal. And Savannah says, I'll be right back. I gotta go to Walmart. Buy something good for me. Yeah, I hope we do get some rain this afternoon. Like I said, I don't want the hail or high winds, but we can use the rain desperately because everything is dried out. So I'm going to have to get out there and water my plants this afternoon with compost tea if it doesn't rain. Well, was there any more gardening questions or anything like that? I try to get as much in my regular garden videos as possible, but sometimes I'll cut the video off and then I'll realize, well, hey, I should have included this, or I should have told everybody this in the video and I forgot. So, yeah, safe travels, Savannah. Watch the traffic. Everybody's out there running around today. It is Saturday. And our little town has grown so much here since I've lived here. Oh my God, you could leave my house, go through town, and get on the other side of town in less than 10 minutes. Sometimes now you'll hit that traffic just right. It'll take you a good 30 minutes or more to get from my house through town and get to Walmart. Because I said the traffic is awful, especially on Saturdays and Sundays, or like at 5 p.m. in the afternoon, or when school's getting out and all the buses are out there, people are picking up kids from school. It's terrible. And I don't even want to drive to Fort Worth and Dallas anymore. I mean, I drove to Fort Worth for years after moving here. Didn't mind it at all. But now, the way they've changed the highways and the interstate and exits and everything else, I don't even want to drive up there anymore. So I do all my shopping either in Granbury, close, or I order it online. I don't want to venture out. Wilkes County, you got a cooking video? Is that who you're talking about, Bloomin'? That he's got a cooking video? Did he just post a cooking video or something? I might want to see that. Yeah, I'm thinking about that because at first I didn't know if I wanted to do lives, but I'm starting to get a pretty good response to it. So I may consider getting in a mod or two. I mean, I've only got 30 people in here so far, so. Well, that's good, Sunny B. You live in a condo, but you have a small garden for flowers and herbs and pots. That's good. At least you can grow something there. Well, I'm going to have to catch his video after I get off my live then. Because I thought I had watched some of his videos. I don't remember the cooking part. Well, thank you. It's not as curly as it used to be. This dry climate in Texas makes my hair straighten out just a tiny bit. But I can drive back to North Carolina. I hit Louisiana, South Carolina, and North Carolina, and my hair starts curling up more. That humidity gets in my hair, and it causes it to curl up a lot more than it is now. And I just washed it, so it's still wet. Well, it's almost dry completely, but it's a little damp right at the back of my head. Hello, kindred spirit. It's not pleasant. Sometimes people get mad at you. Ha. What are they getting mad at you for? I'm missing some of these chats. I don't know. Oh, you live in North Carolina. What part of North Carolina? Wilkes County boy. I'm from a little town called Atkinson. It's just about 20 miles inland from Carolina Beach, Wrightsville Beach, Wilmington, that area. Yeah, I know that, Bloomin'. Sometimes you get some bad people in your chats, but I said, I've not had that many lives yet with that many people. So I said, maybe, I don't think it's happened yet, maybe. Wilkes County. Well, that makes sense if he's Wilkes County boy, but I don't know where Wilkes County is. I'm not familiar with Wilkes County. Wilkesboro, North Carolina. I'm going to have to look at the map because I'm not familiar with where that's close to. Isn't that terrible? I'm from North Carolina and I don't know where Wilkesboro is. My ex-husband is from Charlotte, or a little town just outside of Charlotte. It's called Vale, around Black Mountain, Cherokee, that area. Well, I'm glad to have you in here, another North Carolinian. I was actually born in North Carolina, lived in New York a little while growing up as a kid, and then we moved back to North Carolina. Oh, shame on you, Linda. You're supposed to know everything. Yeah, I guess I am, but over the years, my file cabinet up here has got a little overcrowded, so I don't know everything. Yeah, I guess you have to clarify that you not only like Wilkes County dogs, but you like him too. 90 miles north of Charlotte. Okay, so you're up from somewhere around that area where my ex is from, because you go through Charlotte to get to where he lives now and where he's originally from, which is called Vale. It's just outside of Charlotte. It's up close to oh, what is it? It's close to, it's about an hour's drive or so from Mountain City, Tennessee. He lives real high above, on the northern part of North Carolina, the western end. I've been up there a few times. I like going through Black Mountain and Cherokee and that area. It was interesting. Your sister used to live in Newton, North Carolina. See, I don't know where Newton is either. Shame on me. Conover is a spitting distance from Newton. It's right outside your door then. Well, I tell you what, my hometown is definitely not a spitting distance from Texas where I'm at now. It's a good 1,200-mile drive one way. Yeah, I know of Statesville. Never been there, but I've heard of it, and I know kind of about where it's at, where it's located. Oh, you lived in Statesville for 19 years. How long have I lived in Texas? A long time. I tell everybody I'm an adopted Texan at this point because we moved here in 1978. My son was only about a year and a half old. My daughter was about 6 years old. And he was transferred here with Comanche Peak Nuclear Power Plant. And it's about 20-minute drive from here. And I kept saying I was not coming to Texas, wasn't moving to Texas. And where am I? I'm in Texas. About 7 years after we moved here, we were divorced. Later on, he retired with the company he was with Comanche Peak. And he moved back to Vale, North Carolina because he inherited his parents' farm and nice home that's on that farm. And I'm still in Texas. I mean, my kids, they were so little when we moved here. By the time my daughter was ready to graduate school, she didn't want to move, at the time we were divorced, because that meant she couldn't graduate with her class, her friends. My son was, like I said, a year and a half old. So he was, 7, 8 years old when we divorced. And or 9, he didn't want to move because Granbury was the only home he ever knew. He didn't remember North Carolina. He was too little. I mean, of course, we went back and visited for a week vacation in the summer. So he knew his grandparents. He didn't know them that well, only seeing them 1 week out of every year, but he knew they were there. And I've just been here ever since. She looks younger than what she is for sure. I don't know who you're talking about. I know it's not me. You're a big time Dallas Cowboy fan, Wilkes County boy. Well, I always say that I'm rooting for the Cowboys if they're playing, but if the Tar Heels are playing, I'm rooting for the Tar Heels. And if it's Cowboys versus Tar Heels, I'm kind of split. I'm rooting for both of them. I'm rooting for whoever wins. Well, I take that as a compliment. I had some of my friends in North Carolina, when I'd go home on vacation, sometimes fuss at me. And they say, you need to grow old gracefully. And that was because I didn't let my hair go completely gray. I'd either frost it or dye my hair. And I've let it grow gray a few times, and I'd get tired of it, and I'd dye it back, some other color. But my reply to them was, I am growing old as gracefully as I know how. And if that's not the right way according to them, I'm sorry. It's whatever's right for me. I think my son gets a little put down sometimes because he started getting gray hair in high school. And his dad did, and his aunt, his dad's sister. They all got gray hair real early in life. I mean, they were basically, his dad and his sister were basically gray-headed already by the time they graduated high school. Everybody thought Sandy, his sister, had frosted her hair. And that was the big thing back then. People would spend a lot of money frosting their hair. But hers was natural. I mean, it was all naturally gray that she had. And I was not like that. I didn't get gray hair till later in life, but I a lot of gray and dark hair as well. And I don't know what just happened, but my phone seemed like it disconnected and it reconnected all of a sudden. I don't know if y'all experienced a blackout or anything. But I plugged my phone into the charger this time, my camera, so the thing wouldn't die on me like it did last time. So I don't know why it did that unless it had something to do with the internet. So am I still with you? Somebody let me know. Because I got a message on my screen telling me that I'd been disconnected, but then it said reconnect. And it shows that I'm still live. So I assume I'm still live. I got 37 watching, 33 thumbs up. That means 4 people are watching that didn't give me a thumbs up. What's going on with that? Wilkes County boy, you're 54. Well, you're still a youngin'. You got many years to plant gardens and make videos and do cooking. I thought I had subscribed to your channel, Wilkes County boy. Who are you asking? How many grandchildren do you have? I've got one grandchild, if it's me you're asking. Yeah, he's still wet behind the ears. Yeah, I've just got one grandchild, my son's daughter, because my daughter never had children. She didn't want children. But yeah, I've got one granddaughter. Her name is Alexandra. And her birthday was June, well, it's not here yet. It's June 13th. And if I'm not badly mistaken, she'll be 20, I think. So she's not a little baby. I mean, she's grown up. She's old enough to have her own babies. All my exes live in Texas. Well, I can't say that. Ex-boyfriends, maybe. I've got a few ex-boyfriends that live in Texas. But ex-husbands, if they're talking about them, they're in North Carolina. I only got one left in North Carolina because my first husband passed away. I think my first husband was 68 when he died. He had a heart attack. I think his sister said that she took him breakfast one morning and she left him sitting at the table eating his breakfast, and she went back over because they live beside one another, and she went back over later to check, I guess to clean up the dishes or whatever, and she found him laying on the floor beside the kitchen table dead. He had a heart attack that quick and died. And she felt bad about that because she always feels like, well, if I'd have went over there sooner, I may have been able to get him help or something, but you never know. Shirley, welcome to have you. Glad to have you, Shirley. Welcome to our chat. You're in Indiana. Born and raised in Hazard, Kentucky. Seemed like I've heard about Hazard. Is that where the Dukes of Hazzard come from? My youngest brother, he came out to Texas with us right after he graduated from school, and he got a job at the nuclear power plant out here where my ex-husband worked. And he bought a car. And we called it his Dukes of Hazzard car because it looked exactly like the Dukes of Hazzard car. It had the stripe down it. It was the same color. And when he went back to North Carolina later, he drove that car back home. Gladys, glad to have you in. That's okay. You know, nobody was really notified until I went live. You know, that you'd even get a notification that I went live. I didn't plan it beforehand. And if you didn't watch the drink video that I posted yesterday, you would not have known that I was going to go live today. Sure, I don't care. You can advertise for the Hodges. I'll watch Helen White, the grandmother. I watch her all the time. I watch Stephen Hodges. I watch Danny and Tammy Hodges. And I think I just subscribed to his Country Ideas. Is that it? That other channel he's got? I think that has his antennas and stuff on. So no, I don't mind. I mention them on my videos sometimes too, so. I watch just about all of Stephen's videos, and I watch mostly all of Helen's videos, and I watch a lot of Danny and Tammy's. I don't get to see all of them because I told them, as I said, as good as I like to watch them, if I stayed watching their videos constantly, I would never get my own videos done. That's okay. I was about to fall asleep before I went live. I was debating whether to take a nap or just go ahead and do the live. M&T Living and Cooking, welcome to my channel. Glad to have you. Southern Ideas. I knew it was something ideas, but I did subscribe to that. He told about it in their video yesterday, so after I got off of their chat, I went ahead and subscribed to that channel as well. So I'm subscribed to Stevens, to Helen White, to Danny and Tammy, and then now Southern Ideas. Savannah's back. MNT Living and Cooking. Yeah, I've got so many videos I want to watch, but I don't come up with time to watch them all. It usually takes a lot of time for me to get my own videos up, so I don't have a whole lot of time to watch other people's videos, and because with housework, yard work, doing the garden, doing my own videos, it pretty much takes up my time. But I watch what I can. But can't chat there? I don't know. I don't have a problem chatting on Helen White's channel, Stephen's channel, or Danny and Tammy's channel. Or so far I haven't. Only in the super chat. That's strange. Well, thank you, Gladys. I'm so happy you do watch my videos, and I'm even more happy that you like them. I got 39 people in, and I got 37 thumbs up. That's doing pretty good. That means there's only 2 people that didn't hit the thumbs up. Yeah, Gladys, I didn't really schedule this chat, but I figured I'd go online and do a live, take a break, answer people's questions about gardening or the compost tea or anything that they needed to ask. And I get to chat with my subscribers and have a fun time with them today. Where I type jumps around and won't let me type. Sounds like there's something going on with your computer. Are you on a computer or your cell phone? Or what are you trying to view their live video on? That question was for Shirley. Because I was wondering if it's on your laptop or your home computer that you're trying to do this. Maybe if you restart it, close it out, restart it, go back in and log back into YouTube and go back to their live, if it still would do that. I don't know how often you reboot your computer, but every once in a while I'll reboot mine and it clears out a lot of stuff that gets built up on your computer. Thank you, Sunny B. You did a thumbs up. Yeah, it went up to 38. I watch on TV and type or try on my phone. I don't know. I usually watch their lives on my phone, and that's where I chat with them live on my phone, and I don't have a problem. So I don't know. I don't know what the problem could be. But it sounds like there's something going on with your connection on your phone to YouTube or something. I don't know. I went to school for computers years ago, but I don't know everything about them. But it does sound like you got a problem with connections if it's jumping around. Because if your settings were turned off or something to not allow you to type, it wouldn't be jumping around. Yeah, it might have something to do with their Wi-Fi that's causing it. I know I've been having problems with my Wi-Fi for the last couple of weeks. All of a sudden I'll be online and the Wi-Fi will drop and it has to reconnect, and I think that's what just happened with my video, because I got the message saying that, my video was dropped or something, then it rebooted all of a sudden. It came right back on. Because I'll be doing some things online on my laptop, and all of a sudden it won't do anything, and I look down to the little icon, and it shows the full world icon, which is telling me that my Wi-Fi turned off. And about the time I go to click on it to connect back, it's already connected. So it's being dropped and it reconnects real quick for some reason. There's some kind of interference coming in on my Wi-Fi. Yeah, I did see Buddy yesterday. He come by late wanting his dinner. Actually, I went out my back door, and when I came in, he jumped through the door. He scoots in real fast, and I'll get his bowl, and he'll run to the front door because he knows I feed him out the front door. So when I open the door, he jumps out on the front porch, and I put his bowl down, and he starts eating. But that's got to be a regular routine with him if I'm on the back side of the house, and he comes up. Or if he's walking around with me and I'm back there, if I open that door to come in, he scoots in this house before I can get up the step. Little Buddy's a cat. He's a orange tabby, and he's got white feet, and he's got white under his neck. He's real pretty. Well, I tried turning it sideways to get full screen the last time I went live, and it wouldn't let me do that. I had to upright the camera. So I'm afraid almost to turn it. So y'all are seeing it just a narrow picture then, right? I don't know if it would flip on me if I turned it up right now. Yeah, and I get the message telling me to rotate my device when I do that. So I almost lose the picture. So for some reason, it's not letting me do it that way. I have to do it upright. I mean, it may have showed you the picture turned up, but it tells me to rotate my device every time I flip it up that way. You have to do it when you first go live. Okay, I'll remember that next time. I'll try it. But when I tried it on my other camera, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't show the picture correctly until I turned it up right. That's the reason I didn't even try it this time. I just started it upright from the beginning. So I guess it depends on your camera, whatever camera you're using, whether you can do it or not. Oh, last night, Gladys, you watched my video on Christmas about the Christmas tree, the white one. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, I might do that. I haven't had any problem turning it the other way to do my videos that I've been doing. But it seems like when I try to do a live, it will not go sideways. I have to have the camera upright to do it, or it won't do it at all. Like I said, I just got the message right in the middle of the screen to turn my camera upright. So rather than the camera cut off, I turned it back. Yes, I'm using my phone camera. I know it doesn't do that when I go in the yard and I'm filming a video if it's not live. But every time I go live, it forces me to have it upright. It won't let me turn it the other way. Yeah, I've got to get the ingredients. I don't have all the ingredients for that banana pudding. But I got a trip to the store, I guess, to buy groceries this coming week. So I'll see about getting the ingredients to make my banana pudding. But like I said, it might be different than any banana pudding that you've ever made, because it's not going to be like the one I made years ago. Used to, I made everything from scratch. I made my custard from scratch, everything. And I even made a meringue topping to go on it. This time I'm not going to do all that. Well, I'm not going to tell you anymore. Just wait and see the video when I post it. I know I love banana pudding, and it's been years since I've made one. I used to make a banana pudding every Sunday. But like I said, I made my banana pudding from scratch. Everything was from scratch. That's the way my mama always made it. But then later, when my kids moved out and I'm cooking for myself, I just don't make it from scratch anymore. Did any of you see the video I did on the tortilla soup? That's some good soup, y'all. You need to try the recipe if you haven't cooked it before. And the way I did it was a lot easier than chopping up some stuff. That Mexican blend of corn and beans and chili peppers and all that in one can. That was an easier way to do it than to have to chop up peppers and all that other stuff. So Bloomin', you say you've been learning a lot from me. Well, I'm sure I could learn a lot from you when it comes to cooking. But I got to thinking, me as a single parent when my kids were growing up, money was tight. I mean, I did get some child support paid in until, my kids were 18. But still, it didn't cover a lot of stuff for kids. And then when you had your own bills to pay, your own rent or house payment, car payments, that type of thing, your utilities, I mean, it was hard. So I had to learn ways of cooking good, decent food at a minimum cost. And after I started this channel, I got to thinking, I said, well, you know, times are tough with a lot of people right now. I mean, there's some people that have money, they don't worry about it. But there's a lot of people just like me. There's a lot of single parents. There's a lot of single people or young people that are living on their own that have to really watch what they spend. And they can't afford to spend a lot of money on groceries. So I felt like, well, maybe that's what I'll do. I'll include cooking food and meals that cost a minimum amount of money to prepare. But yet you get good, healthy food out of it. And I said I felt like maybe people would benefit from that. So that's why I decided to do that. I know it's all about growing your food and cooking the food from your garden, but I've also included cheap and easy recipes that I come up with over the years that, you know, I fed my kids because I lived on a budget. Sometimes I didn't know if I was going to have enough money to even buy food from week to week. My son can tell you that. I mean, my son and my daughter can tell you that there was times it was slim pickings when it came to groceries. You had to be very creative. Well, I'm glad you found it too, Wilkes County boy. I see you on the Hodges channels quite a bit in the chat. So I recognize your name when you popped up. Yeah, there's a couple of people that I recognize from the Hodges channel, from Helen White's channel. But yeah, I'm glad you found my channel and you got on the video and you subscribed today. Oh, you did? I may have missed that too, Bloomin'. Didn't know that I heard or saw where you mentioned my channel on the concert last night. But I know when I was on Helen White's videos, her lives, I've seen you mention me quite a bit on there. But I guess there was so much going on last night and there was so many people putting in chats that some of them got by me and I didn't see it. Yeah, I know. Quite a few Hodge viewers on my chat, which I'm happy about. I mean, I'm glad. I mean, I need all the people in my chat subscribing to my channel that I can get. When I first started it, I had no idea that I'd even get 1,000 subscribers. I said, oh my God, 1,000 subscribers seems so far away. I said, I'll never get there. But I made it. And I'm up to about 1,600 right now, I think. Oh, Bloomin' was trying to talk to or chat with me last night, and I must have missed it because there was so many going by so quick. Or I might have glanced away from the screen at the particular time she posted her comment or her question and I didn't see it. By the time I saw it, it was rolled on up and gone. Because sometimes they go pretty fast. And I notice once in a while too, the chats on my phone will freeze. And I notice it's not moving, and I said, well, I know the chats are moving. It shouldn't stay in that one spot. So I'll close out my chat and I'll open it up again. And oh my God, there'll be 50 chats come in there and zoomed on by that I didn't even catch. So I think that's one of the times when my internet dropped and it just reconnected automatically. You only have 389. Well, I thought I subscribed to your channel already, but I'll check. And if I haven't subscribed, I will subscribe. But I think I subscribed to your channel already. I know I've subscribed to several people's channels that come up in Helen White's and Stephen Hodges' chats all the time, because I went to check out their channel when I realized they did have a channel, and I did subscribe to them when I was there. Yeah, it looked like Christina and Stephen were having a good time last night. I got up to 40 likes so far, 40 thumbs up. That's good. Well, folks, I don't know. Well, I got another one come in, 31. I hate to just keep people on alive if we're not getting anywhere with it. To Gladys, I don't always get one in on for the concert, but if I try to, I go all over the internet to find Danny some nice looking shirts for the concert. Yeah, they had some sharp shirts on last night. I saw those. I noticed that. They've been wearing some good looking shirts, and I think Bloomin' is the one that sent them to them. There's been several concerts that I've already seen that they've wore some nice looking shirts, and Danny and Steven matched. Yep, I know. I got right at 1,600 subscribers. But like I said, I'm not going to be satisfied with them. I want more. I want as many subscribers as I can get. I'm like Tammy was on her channel the other day. I want thousands and thousands of subscribers. I want 100,000 subscribers if I can get them. It may take me the rest of my life to get that many, but hey, I'm shooting for the stars. I always said, if you're going to wish for something, wish big. Savannah's back. Linda, have you ever watched Deep South Bama? He's in Alabama. He has about 5 cats, and he does gardening and cooking videos, if you like you do. And his channel reminds me of yours. No, I don't think I've caught his channel before. I need to write that down. If I can find something to write with and write on. And find something over here to write on. And see, they're the Deep South Bama. Yeah, I'll look that up and see what that channel's all about. I know. I mean, you know, my daddy used to say when I was growing up, and maybe I shouldn't say this live, but he used to tell me when I'd ask for something that I figured I wasn't going to get anyway. He'd hold his hands up and he'd say, whoosh in one hand and you know what in the other, and see which one gets full first. Well, I knew the answer was no. I wasn't going to get what I asked for. But you know what he meant by doing in the other's hand. So I grew up with that in mind, and I always say, well, if I wish for something, I'm probably not going to get it. So if I'm going to wish for something, I'm going to wish big. I'm going to go all out. I'm going to be way up there. So I'm shooting for 100,000 subscribers. One day maybe I'll hit it. Mary, well, welcome aboard. Mary Zenner, I'm not sure I pronounced that correctly. Zaner or Zenner. Cotton Sandy So Full, you're welcome. Mary, you enjoy listening to me. I've had a lot of people say that. I don't know. I used to have a phone job years ago where I sold advertising over the telephone. And I don't know if it was my southern accent, my giggle, or what it was. Everybody always told me that they just loved to hear me talk. And I could keep customers on the phone longer than anybody, trying to sell them anything because they wanted to hear me talk. So I felt fortunate over that because, it always kept my sales up. I did pretty good on the job. I made commission plus bonuses every week. So I guess there's something about my voice that people like, or my personality or something. I don't know. Let's see, how long have we been on here? 2 hours? It's almost 3 o'clock. Are y'all getting tired of this live going on, or do we need to end it, or do we need to keep going? Yeah, well, thank you. I hope so. Yes, ma'am, I do so. Growing up as a kid, me being a short person, I was only like 5'2", and shorter before I was out of high school. And my mom always sewed. Well, back when I was a kid and just hitting teenage years, they did not make clothes for petite people. Usually the pants were too long, the dresses were too long-waisted, so I'd have to wear skirts and tops, mostly. Except for when my mom would make me a pair of slacks, or she'd make me a dress, and then the waist would be correct. So when I was, I guess, in my high school years, I started sewing myself. So for many, many years, even after I was out of school, I made my own clothes. Just for the fact that you couldn't buy petite sizes in the stores. You want something to fit right. You don't want to buy it for somebody that's a foot taller than you. It's not going to fit you right. So yes, ma'am, I do sew. I don't sew as much now as I used to because fortunately enough, now they do have petite sizes. But sometimes I can't find jeans in a petite size, so I do cut the legs of them off and hem them up. That type of thing. But yeah, I don't sew as much as I used to years ago. You should be singing. Well, like I said, I've got another channel that I might end up doing something like Danny and Steven on their concert channel. I don't know. I started out doing that years ago, way before I even thought about doing this. And back when I looked good and was a lot younger. I mean, it was probably almost 15, 20 years ago that I started that singing channel. And I had recorded a lot of songs that I did sing on that channel. And right after I got started good with it, I mean, it was popular. People in my town here watch my videos all the time. I mean, I didn't make any money off of it, but it was fun, and I loved to sing. And my YouTube channel got hacked. And once it got hacked, I had got so many problems with it that I couldn't get back on my channel. I couldn't do anything with my channel at all. I don't have access to it anymore. So I just gave up. I stopped even trying. And later I started watching a lot of videos and gardening videos, cooking videos. I ran into Helen White's channel back when she was still making her pottery. She was using the cement to make her flower pots and different things. And I got to thinking, well, a lot of these people are doing things that I could do. So I decided I was going to start a gardening channel. Because it took me many, many years to figure out how to grow something in my yard here in Texas. It was almost impossible. I mean, I spent a lot of money trying to plant stuff that died because of this climate. I was so used to North Carolina climate where you could just drop a seed and it grew like crazy. So that's what I decided to do. I decided to start my channel on gardening, compost in place, cooking what you grow, and stuff like that. And from time to time, if I want to start singing on the channel, I'll do that too. So, but yeah, I've got the other channel set up. I've not posted anything on it. I haven't used it yet, so I haven't advertised it. But I may do that in the future. I don't know. But having that bad experience about doing something you loved and somebody just sabotaging your channel on you, evidently somebody out there didn't want me singing, and especially didn't want me singing on something as big as YouTube. So I gave up on it. And I've already had people try to sabotage this channel, but I've learned from experience, so far they've not been able to do it. But they have sabotaged my bank account, which I've closed out that account, so they don't have access to that anymore. And hopefully they can't get to any other account that I've got, because they wiped out $700 of my account that I only got $200 back of. So you have to be careful with what you put on there. You know, you put too much information on the internet, people get your name, they get your email address, they get your physical address, your phone number, and that's basically all they need to get into your bank accounts. I mean, they can get in, change passwords on you, and they have access to your account, and you don't. And that's something like what they did to me on YouTube about 15 to 20 years ago when I started my singing channel. And I was doing it for fun, you know, just for entertainment, because it was something I loved to do. But I have got a couple of the recordings that I was able to save that I did post on Facebook. And I've got one singing video on my wall in Facebook where I went live on Facebook not long ago. But yeah, if you'll scroll down, and you have to go all the way down to some of my really old videos and old photos that are on Facebook, and you'll come across pictures of me with my long hair, and I look really good, I have to admit. I don't look that good now. But those are recordings. Those are videos with me singing some of those songs that I had recorded. And let's see. The fishing song is one of them. I changed some of the words in it when I recorded it, but it's posted on Facebook on my wall. I've got one or two other that survived, and I posted on there just so people could hear them on Facebook. And I haven't reposted them in quite a while, so, you know, if you don't scroll down to some of my older videos and older photos, you won't see them. But a couple of them are still there. And those are the ones I did have on that channel. And that's how I looked when I started the channel. But a lot of life has happened since then. I went through a lot of, well, a lot of people don't know it, but I went through chemo and stuff like that. I was misdiagnosed with cancer, breast cancer. Went through surgery, went through chemo where I lost all my hair, and only part of my hair came back. And I gained a lot of weight through that because my doctor, my cancer doctor, made me gain weight, gave me something to make me gain weight. And I've not been able to lose all that weight. So I don't look quite as good as I did back then, but oh well. Still like to sing, and I may do that again. So that's the reason I've told people in my introduction video when I started this channel, my advice to anybody that goes in with a health problem, get 2 or 3 opinions. Don't go with your first opinion because it may be a misdiagnosis. And if I'd have went in for a second or third opinion when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, things may have been different. I would not have had to go through the chemo, which I didn't need because I did not have cancer. They gave me 3 years to live. Like to destroyed my family because it worried them to death. My son went crazy, thought he was going to lose his mom. My daughter was upset. And then after surgery, I went in and my surgeon, thank God, she was an honest surgeon. She said, we need to talk. And she was the one that told me I did not have cancer. I never needed surgery. I mean, I had a lump, but it was not cancer. And I needed the surgery probably to remove the lump. But I didn't need the surgery to the drastic point that they performed it because it was not cancer. And to tell me that I only have three years to live was just unreal. And if I'd have been well enough or in the right type of mind at that point, I would have probably sued the doctors that diagnosed it to begin with, because it was a misdiagnosis and you can sue them for that. But I was not able to do that, so I let it go. I said I was not physically or mentally capable of dealing with suing the doctor over that. But everybody told me, oh, you should have got a bunch of money out of that. Well, I didn't, because I didn't sue them. So, yeah, Bloomin', she's just saying that I probably could have sued them for a lot of money. That's what everybody told me. But like I said, I lived alone. My kids did not live in this town. They were an hour drive away. They were all working all the time. They didn't have time to run me around and help me do things with attorneys or what it takes to get everything set up to sue a doctor. So it just didn't happen. And like I said, I was not in the frame of mind to deal with it mentally. I was already too stressed out. So I couldn't deal with having to go through a court battle over something like that. And it's been a struggle since then, because I was out of work for a long time. And even after I did go back to work, it wasn't easy. I mean, there was a long time there, because when you go through chemo, it knocks out your immune system. So I had to stay home. I'd go to the store to buy groceries. I'd come home and I was sick. I mean, it would happen that fast. So I only went to the store when I absolutely had to. I didn't go to church. I didn't go anywhere. I stayed home. And that's when I started taking tons and tons of vitamins to build up my immune system. My immune system is back up 150% now. I can go anywhere I want to, and usually I don't get sick. But when I went home, when I drove to South Carolina to be with my brother New Year's, because he lost his wife Christmas Eve day. I was going to drive home to see him, to the funeral and everything. I didn't make the funeral, but I made it that next weekend. And I started out and started going, and I got part of the way there driving, and I got a message from one of my other brothers. And he told me, he said, I'm on my way to rent a camper right now because I'm going to cousin Michelle's house, and she lives in Georgia. No, she lives in South Carolina, but it's right inside the South Carolina line from Georgia. I passed through Atlanta, and as soon as I got across the state line, it's only like 12 miles to where she lives, but she is actually in South Carolina. So he asked me, he said, what are you doing? I said, well, right now, I'm headed to North Carolina. I'm driving. I'm already out of where I live. I'm headed to North Carolina. He said, well, no one's there. I said, what do you mean no one's there? And we're chatting, And he said, well, Suzanne and Samantha, which is my brother's two daughters, they decided that they needed to get him out of the house and get away for a few days. So they went to my niece's in South Carolina, Michelle's house. She always had a New Year's party there every year that they went to. Well, she hadn't planned on a New Year's party this year because of my sister-in-law passing away. But they decided to go anyway just to get him away from the house, to get his mind, or hopefully try to get his mind on other stuff because he was so stressed out. He took her death so hard. So I decided, well, I'm going to keep driving. I'll just go to Michelle's when I get there. And he said, well, he's driving to get a camper then. He was renting a pickup and a camper so he could drive it to Michelle's so they could stay in it overnight because there were so many of the family at her house already, they ran out of places to sleep. I said, well, if I have to, I'll sleep in my car because I had that little bed fixed in my car at that point. For me traveling, if I get tired of driving, I can just get in the back and lay down and stretch out. And I said, if I have to, I'll just sleep on that in the car. So I went on and got to my niece's house, and my brother was there. And I haven't been home since. I mean, things just happened so when I was there that I got upset. My brother was still upset. We tried to calm him down as much as possible, but still, it was not an easy time. And instead of going on to my hometown after that, which was another 4-hour drive, I decided just to come on home to Texas. And I'll wait and go visit them later when things, all the stress and a lot of that stuff settled down and things were better to visit. Sunny B, bless your heart, Linda, you had it rough. Yeah, I did have it rough, but I did get sick when I went there. My niece was sick. She's a nurse, and she took time off, and she came down with some kind of virus that put her in the bed while we were there. And I didn't start feeling bad till I started home. And I said, well, to be sure I'm not catching something. I thought it was all allergies. But by the time I got home and got my stuff unpacked out of the car, I was sick. I was sick for almost 2 weeks with some kind of virus. But thank goodness I didn't go to the doctor or anything, and I got over it and I was fine. But that was the first time I had been sick in years, since I had built up my immune system again. So that virus must have been something strong. Because I was working at Lowe's, just a temporary Christmas job. It was a seasonal job through Christmas. And I just did it to pick up a little bit of extra money. Because I knew by then I had my immune system built back up. And I wasn't afraid of just catching a cold or something like that working. But I was working there about the time that COVID broke out. Well, I was kind of concerned about that. But I said, well, I should not have any more risk catching COVID than any of the other workers did. So I felt fairly confident in working. And I did work for several months through the season. And toward the end of the season, I heard a couple of the workers were out with COVID. They were quarantined for 14 days, I think, in their house because they tested positive for COVID. And then there was one day when I felt like I was coming down with something. You know how you usually feel if you're coming down with the flu and you feel like you're starting to get feverish, how you'll get a cold chill and you'll kind of shiver and then you're fine. And I started feeling a little bit bad. And I said, oh no, I'm coming down with something. But I come home that night, went to bed. The next morning I felt fine. That had already passed. So if it was COVID, I had it that one day, and I was fine after that. But when I went to work the next day, I think it was the 2 days after that, I found out one of the cashier supervisors was home in quarantine because she tested positive for COVID. She didn't have a real bad case of it, but she was a little sick, and she did test positive, so she was quarantined. I didn't go to the doctor because, like I said, I felt bad when I went home. Went to bed that night, got up the next morning, and I was fine. So I never went to the doctor. I never was tested or anything. So I don't know what it was, but it was only a one-day affair, so I felt fortunate. Bloomin', you feel like that every day? Well, I'm sorry. Yes, I am retired, Wilkes County boy. I've been retired for quite a while, but every once in a while I would take one of these seasonal jobs at some of these local stores just to pick up extra money for spend money, through Christmas. Or sometimes I'd pick up a summer seasonal job just to work a couple of months through the summer. Sometimes to have something to do or just pick up extra money. But now since I've started my garden channel, my garden keeps me so busy I don't want to work anywhere. I'd rather just spend my time working in my garden. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but misdiagnosis happens quite often and more often than you think. I went in for a mammogram one time after that, and I was talking to the technician about what happened to me, about being misdiagnosed. And I said it makes me weary to even go in and have a mammogram because I'm afraid, of being misdiagnosed again. And it's a terrifying thing. And you know what that technician told me? And she was a nurse. She was a registered nurse technician. She said, you know what? Unfortunately, she said one of the first things they told us and told me when I started nursing school is that you've got to learn and accept that about 9 out of every 10 diagnosis is a misdiagnosis. 9 out of every 10. That's not an acceptable number for me. How can 9 out of every 10 be wrong? That means there's a lot of people out there being treated for cancer, treated for other illnesses that don't need to be treated. That means a lot of other people out there are having surgeries that don't need surgery. That's scary, y'all. Well, you're fortunate then, Bloom. That's what that technician told me. I don't know what nursing school she went to. But, she's one of the people that does the mammograms. And I think it's someone else that reads the diagrams that diagnoses what they see. It's not actually that nurse technician. But she said they told them they had to learn to accept that there is misdiagnosis that happens. And there's nothing that can be done about it. They try to diagnose things as best they can. But they do misdiagnose people sometimes. It happens. Unfortunately, it happens. And I was one of those people. And I tell you what, it's terrifying. It's made me scared to even go to the doctor to have a yearly checkup. I mean, it's terrifying because I can't go through that again. I can't handle another misdiagnosis. It changed my life so much. And once you're misdiagnosed for something like that and you go through chemo like I did, and then they wanted me to go through radiation, which I refused because by then I already knew it was a misdiagnosis. They wanted to put me through another whole year of chemo after I knew I didn't have cancer. I refused it. I didn't do it. And I asked my oncologist, I said, well, do you want a year of preventative chemo? She says, no, because I don't have cancer. My reply to her was, I don't either. And I don't want a year of preventative chemo. And I refused it, and I did not get it. And I refused the radiation. I did go back in for checkups after that, just for them to check my blood to make sure there was no cancer cells in the blood or anything like that, and that's all I did. And now I don't even do that. I said, it's useless. I don't even need to go to the cancer center to be tested for my blood. Because you know what? Even though they gave me 3 years to live and diagnosed me for what they did, it never showed in my blood. And my surgeon and my technician from the surgeon's office and everybody said that with the diagnosis that I had and given only 3 years to live, it should have showed up in my blood, and it didn't. And that should have been the first clue to my cancer doctor, was that it was never in my blood at all. So, yeah. I mean, people they can make their own decisions, but that's just my advice from experience. I prefer to have a second or third opinion now if I ever get a serious diagnosis like that. But I just took their word for it. I mean, when I had back and neck surgery, I had a second opinion before I agreed to surgery. And my second opinion agreed with my first doctor, which I trusted my first doctor. But I said, I'll feel better with a second opinion, and I got one. And then I was so confident when I got this diagnosis from the cancer center, then I felt like, well, there was no need for a second opinion, but there was. That would have saved me a lot of grief, a lot of medical problems and issues. Because like I said, I lost my hair. I was completely bald. Only about 60% of my hair came back, which I always had extremely thick hair. I gained a lot of weight through it that I was never able to lose. My family went through a lot of turmoil over it. I went through a lot of turmoil over it. I lost jobs because of it. And even though I was able to go back to work later, it was not the same. It's never going to be the same. I will never be the same. Not 100%. And anybody that ever goes through what I went through will never be the same. It doesn't matter what they do. You're never going to be the same person you were before. You're never going to be the same person health-wise as you were before. So, and I don't want to dwell on that. I was just trying to answer a question, and, you know, I didn't want to get into that deep, and I'm sorry about that. But I just feel like people have a right to know that there is misdiagnosis out there. Not everybody gets them, but it never hurts to get that second or third opinion. And that's all I got to say. Let's get on a better topic. Yeah, stuff like that happens every day, Bloomin'. Unfortunately, it does. And, you know, people are only human. And with computers nowadays, a lot of records are only as good as the person that inputs those records. And they can easily make a mistake entering information into people's medical records through the computer. That's one reason that I was skeptical when they decided to put everything on computers. I know it makes it easier to access for a lot of people. It's easier to keep up with. They don't have as many files in their office. But I tell you what, I appreciate and I bless every doctor that still keeps a paper backup file in their office. Because you never know when there's going to be a mistake entered in the computer. And it will change your life if that mistake is in your medical record. So that's all I got to say. Yeah, I hope I did. I mean, just mention it. And that's why I mentioned it in my introductory video that I did when I first started my channel. I mentioned that. It was not because I wanted pity for myself. I've come through it. I'm fine. You know, I'm living every day the best I can. And I'll be okay. But I said, I want people that watch my videos to be aware things like that do happen. Everybody out there's human. Everybody can make a mistake. You know, I don't fault them for that. But you have to look out for yourself as well as expect other people to look out for you health-wise. And I've got allergy tears coming out of my eyes. But you have to be careful. And you have to get your other opinions. Don't just take it at face value. And I should have known because I told them in the beginning that I knew what the lump was. It was a fibrocystic cyst. They told me, no, you're wrong. It's not that. It's cancer. Well, when push come to shove and it was all over and done with, that's exactly what it was. When they did the surgery to remove the lump, the technician said he tested, he retested, and he retested 5 and 6 times the tissue that they removed. And he said there was no cancer cells whatsoever. This woman never had cancer. She does not have cancer. It was fibrocystic cysts. That's all it was. And that's what I told them in the beginning. And they didn't believe me. So that's my experience, and it was not very nice. It was a bad experience. And I hope anybody that goes through medical problems have a better experience than I did. But I wanted the people to know in my video that things like that do happen, and you've got to look out for yourself sometimes. You've got to take up for yourself. Just don't take everybody at face value, because it's your life they're dealing with. It's your health they're dealing with. So that's what I wanted to accomplish, and I hope it does help someone to be aware that it does happen. And I bless, I praise Lord for all the health people out there, the nurses, the doctors, because I know for sure most of them are doing all they can to keep you healthy. That's why they wanted to be doctors in the beginning. They wanted to keep people healthy. That's what they wanted to do in life. So, I praise all of them. I'm not down in anybody. But mistakes do happen. And you got to look out for yourself. I would like more if I could. What do you mean by that, Ariana? I'm not sure I understand your comment unless I missed. Oh, how is Buddy doing? He's fine. He's probably outside looking for his dinner. But usually if I'm not out there, he's asleep on the little swing. That's where he takes his naps, and he sleeps most of the time. And then when I open the door, he'll come running and meow a little bit because he knows he's getting fed. Or if he's really hungry, he'll just come to the door and he'll start meowing, and he'll take his paw and he'll hit the door to let me know he's hungry. He wants to be fed. So I haven't heard him out there doing that, so I know he's not hungry. And he's been fed this morning, so. But he will be back a little bit later. It's almost time for him to start telling me he's hungry. Thank you for that comment, Bloomin'. Linda, are you cooking today? I don't know. I haven't decided if I'm going to cook today or not. I thought maybe this would be my video today, is my live video, because it usually goes into 2 hours or more. And I got 33 people, 42 likes, or 42 thumbs up. That's good. Yeah, I don't know if I'm cooking today or not. I've still got the tortilla soup. I know I don't pronounce that correctly. Tortilla soup to eat. I put some of it in containers and put it up in my freezer so I could eat it next week if I wanted to. I don't have to eat it all at one time. And it's something that does freeze good, so I didn't mind making a big pot of it. Savannah's a doctor? Oh, I didn't know that. Well, I hope you don't mean that I was down in doctors, because I'm not. I praise God for every doctor out there. And like I said, mistakes are happen. I mean, they do happen. You have to look out for yourself. You've got to get those second opinions. I love leftover spaghetti. I like leftover anything. And sometimes if I cook pizza at night, guess what I eat for breakfast the next day? I'll get me a piece of pizza out, and sometimes I'll just eat the first piece cold, because it's good cold too. Is Savannah still in here? I hope she doesn't think I was cutting doctors down. Because somebody just said Savannah was a doctor or a nurse. Yeah, she said it was sorry that happened to me and all that, but yeah, I'm not down in doctors. I know they do the best they can, and Like I said, they're only good as the equipment is. Mistakes they happen. Records get mixed up. And I often think, well, is that my case? Maybe some records got mixed up. Maybe they tested another woman at the same time. Maybe she was the one that had the cancer and they diagnosed me with it because they got it switched. And maybe they diagnosed her with something else. You know, I just don't know. But it's over now. I'm done with it, you know. And I don't feel bad about not suing the doctors. I mean, I know they're insured against all that. So it's not going to come out of their pocket if they are sued. But I don't regret not suing. I mean, I've gotten by without money that I would have gotten. So I don't feel bad about that. Oh, Savannah's still in here. Well, I hope you heard what I said because I'm not down in doctors. Well, what kind of doctor are you? Are you a pediatrician, a general doctor, or family doctor? Yeah, it can happen. And I know, you know, doctors probably feel really bad. Nurses or whoever does the diagnosis probably feels really bad when it happens, but it does happen, unfortunately. Savannah, what is your specialty? You know, Sunny B, I don't even have an Instapot. I use my pressure cooker, which is basically an Instapot. It's the old-timey Instapot, which was called a pressure cooker. And now they came out with the Instapot, which is the new version of a pressure cooker. I don't have an air fryer either. I've never tried one. My son bought one and he said he didn't like it for some reason. I guess he just likes the old way of frying stuff. And I don't have counter space or really space to store Instapot, air fryer, and all that stuff. So I'm limited. So I just do what I do with what I got that I already have here. Bloomin' says she got to get her an Instapot. An Instapot or a pressure cooker. You can still buy old-timey pressure cookers just like the one I bought. I mean, I've had for years. In fact, I've got two. You saw the two different ones in the tortilla soup video because I started out with a smaller one and I realized after I put the chicken in there that that's not going to be big enough. So after I ended the video, I switched to my bigger pot that I knew would be big enough to hold all the ingredients that was going to go in that soup. So you saw the bigger pot, the outside of it was black. In the last, you know, the next part of the video. Yeah, you can still buy the old-timey pressure cookers for about $30, $40, depending on what size you buy. They're not expensive at all, and they last forever. I mean, I've had mine for over 40 years, and I'm still cooking with them. I've never tried the Instapot. I've heard they're really good, but like I say, I still use my old-timey one. And I think the only difference in using the Instapot versus a pressure cooker is the fact with the pressure cooker, you can't set it at settings and timers and all that. With your old-timey pressure pot, you've got to be there to adjust the temperature that's going to your pot to make sure it's not getting too hot so you don't blow a gasket or something. I've done that one time. I had beans shoot up out of that spout to the ceiling. It was terrible. I had a job cleaning that up. And I've learned to watch the pressure. You got to keep that pressure down low enough so it doesn't happen. And see, I guess that's one thing you don't have to worry with the Instapot. It kind of sets the temperature for you and it doesn't blow out a gasket like I did with the old-timey one. Hello, grandkids. How many grandkids you got, country boy? Wilkes Country Boy? Or are you talking to grandkids that came in here? Oh, you're a family doctor, Savannah. That's good. We've got so many doctors in this town now, it's unreal. When I first lived here, they didn't have an MD1 in this whole town. They were all the, what do you call it? OBs, or I don't know what they called them. They weren't an MD. They were the other kind of doctor. And then later on, we had regular MDs that moved to this town, and now we've got clinics everywhere. We got doctors' offices everywhere. Got any kind of doctor you want to go to. We got allergy doctors, foot doctors, eye doctors, you name it. They're all here. So like I said, this town has grown so much. I don't really have to go out of town to do any shopping or to do anything, basically. Basically get everything done right here. I used to have to drive into Fort Worth to get everything done. Or to go to a decent restaurant. We only had like the Dairy Queen, and we had maybe 3 other restaurants, one little grill here. We had the Nutshell and the Nut House. I think both of those had little restaurants inside. We only got one of those left, but we've got other restaurants everywhere. We've got every kind of restaurant. We have a German restaurant, Mexican restaurants, Chinese restaurants, Oriental restaurants. Every kind of restaurant. I mean, just pick a food and you can find a restaurant to go to. Yes, set the time usually for 5 or 10 minutes. It's electric. You love my stories when I cook? Well, it's funny, when I start cooking and I know I'm talking to people that's watching my videos, all of a sudden some things come to my mind. And when they come to my mind, I just start talking about them in the videos. I didn't intend to do that. It just ended up that way. And it got to the place where people like listening to my stories, so I don't mind telling them as they come to mind. In fact, something just come to my mind when I was remembering of getting that avocado out of the refrigerator to make my little avocado slices to garnish my tortilla soup with. I remember back years ago, my son was 14 years old, and he was working little jobs, bringing in some money. He may have been a year or two older than that, I'm not sure. But he was dating this little girl, and they decided they wanted, now I can't think of it, the salsa you make with avocado, and it's just went right out of my mind. But anyway, he wanted that. And he had went to the store and bought avocados and brought them home. But he didn't know what to look for, what type of avocado to look for. And he got the hard ones. They weren't ripe yet. And I hope I'm still online, because my video just did the same thing. It went offline and it told me to tap it to go back online. So I hope I'm still with y'all. But I started telling you about the avocado and my son. So him and his little girlfriend went to the store, and he bought 4 big avocados, but they were harder than a rock. And I said, son, these are green. We can't make the salsa with this. It's too green. He said, well, Mama, you can chop them up and put them in the blender. I said, no, they're still not going to be like you want them. And he just kept on insisting and insisting and insisting. Till I chopped them up, and I said, see, they're harder than a rock. I threw them in the blender, and they still came out in little bitty hard pieces. No matter how long you left them in that blender, even to pulverize them, they didn't come out smooth. You know, like the avocado dip you make. So I told him, I said, next time you go to the store, buy the ones that are just barely soft. The ones that you can mash a little bit and you can leave a finger imprint in. You don't want them mushy, but you want them a little bit soft. Those are just right to make the avocado dip that you want. And he didn't have any money to go back to the store to buy more avocados, and I didn't either. That was one of the times that I was really pinching pennies for food to put in the house. So he was so disappointed that he got the wrong ones. And he never asked me to make avocado dip after that. But I'm sure he remembers that today. So he knows if he buys avocados, what kind of avocado to get. He don't feel around and get the hardest ones. He said, well, Mama, I felt the soft ones and I felt the ones that are kind of soft, but I was afraid they'd be rotten and I didn't want to get ones that were too mushy. So he said, I felt around and got the hard ones. I said, well, they would be all right in a couple of days. I said, you could leave them on the counter. And I said, they would ripen up. Yeah, guacamole is what I was trying to think of. Sunny Bee posted it up there. I couldn't think of guacamole, and Shelley did too. Guacamole is what I was trying to think of. It's funny how you start talking about like that, and you know what you're talking about, but you can't think of the name of it. And I can't say old age does that, because I did that when I was younger, so can't blame it on old age. But that was another story about one of my children. Yeah, he just felt like Mom could do everything. I mean, it did matter that they were green. Mama could fix it. She could do something with it, but no, Mama couldn't. They still came out hard, and they weren't fit for guacamole. So I told him, I said, son, next time you know, if you buy avocados and they're hard, you got to leave them on the counter till they ripen up for a few days. Or you got to buy them where they just start getting soft. No guacamole here. Why not, Wilkes County boy? Oh, you were the one that asked me to make the baked ziti, and that's Gladys, yeah. Yeah, I think you were the one that asked me to make that. And then I had somebody ask me to make meatloaf and mashed potatoes and a whole meal. And then I had somebody else that wanted me to make the banana pudding. And I said, well, I might make meatloaf, but I'm not going to make it the way I used to. I used to make a big meatloaf, and I made it in the oven when I was cooking for my family. But I cook for myself now. So I don't make a great big meatloaf, and I don't fix it in the oven. So you'll see me fix it a little bit different than what you're thinking. I mean, I could, I guess, make a big one and freeze part of it, but I probably won't. I'll probably just make it the way I've been making it now. Show you another way to make it, maybe. See, I'm talking and I'm looking at the camera, and I'm missing some of these comments. Bloomin', how in the world does anybody eat guacamole? It's nasty. Guacamole is good, girl. If it's fixed right, it's good. I love guacamole. And I love avocados. I love avocados just to chop them up or cut them up in hunks or slices and put them in my green salad when I eat it. But I don't usually have them all the time. Bloomin' says she can't handle that nasty stuff. Well, there's probably things that you like that we don't like either. Everybody likes their own kind of food. You know, everybody has their likes and dislikes. Oh, I understand you're no guacamole here either now, Wilkes County boy. You were commenting to Bloomin's comments. I scrolled back and read some of the previous ones so I know what y'all were talking about. That's funny. Well, guys, we've been going on here for 3 hours, and I could stay on here the rest of the day, but I'm almost feeling like, I'm keeping you too long. And I am losing some of the people that are watching. We're down to 29 people watching, so I guess it's time we should end this video. What do y'all think? It's good. Yeah, it's good. I think guacamole's good. No, stay. Gladys wants me to stay on here. Well, we've been on here for 3 hours. I don't know. Yeah, I say a prayer for all my YouTubers every day. I pray for everybody that watches my channel, everybody out there, family, friends, everybody, every day. I wish everybody the best. I'd always remember everybody in my prayers. Yeah, and I noticed it's almost 4 o'clock and we don't have no hail and no rain yet. So I'm going to be out there watering my plants pretty soon. My son made your iced tea yesterday. Well, that's good, Gladys. I hope y'all liked it. Sunny B says, I loved it, Linda. Savannah says no. Oh, well, everybody doesn't like the same things, just like I said. Some people like some food, some drinks, some people like something else. So everybody's not expected to like everything. Yeah, I got 30 back in here now, and I got 42 thumbs up. But I just feel like we've been going on for 3 hours. I mean, it's been a long time. Hey, I need to feed your doggy, and I need to get out there and see if little buddy's out there anywhere and give him his food, because I know he's probably, it's about time for him to come around wanting his food for this afternoon. And I need to end the video and get some other stuff done. Yeah, Shelly says she's got to go water. So, well, let's all do just a short little prayer and then we'll end this video. How about that? Do like I do before I go to eat my meal. I say a short prayer and bless everybody. And we can do it now. I have no problem with that. So, with that said, I'm going to pray. Dear Lord, bless all the YouTube people out there in YouTube land. Bless all my subscribers that are watching today and the ones that did not get to make the live. I know they'll watch it sometime, and that's fine. But bless everybody. Keep them safe. Keep them happy. Keep them wealthy. And have a blessed evening. Amen. And with that, guys, I'm going to say goodbye for today, and I'll see you on my next live, okay? And maybe there'll be another cooking video coming up. I'm not sure. Don't know what it'll be on. And another garden video for sure. And we'll see you later. Y'all have a blessed evening. If you haven't subscribed already, please like, share, and subscribe to my videos. Have all your friends like and share and subscribe my videos. Y'all have a blessed evening. I'll see you on my next one. Bye now.